Hi everyone, this is YMP TV, and as you know, we've been interviewing mining executive in the sector just to hear their thoughts a bit on what's going on with COVID-19 during and after. And today we have a guest which is also in the mining sectors, but a mining provider like equipment and pieces. So we have Tomaso Veneroso, President and CEO of AMCAST. Hi, Tomaso.
Hi, Bianca, how are you?
Very good. Thanks for joining us and speaking to us today. So there's been a lot of talks on COVID-19. Can you tell us, I mean, as an equipment provider to mining company, how has COVID-19 impacted AMCAST?
Well, but first of all, thank you for the opportunity for this time together today. Second, I as a person, I always see the glass half full. So despite the tragedy of COVID-19 that has impacted the world, I think that immediately when we got this lockdown and when this phenomenon started all over the world, I regrouped with my team and I figured out, okay, we are on lockdown, clearly. A lot of the traveling, a lot of face-to-face, a lot of maybe some of the projects are going to be put on hold. So what we can do. So the impact of COVID with AMCAST was an opportunity to regroup internally to, for example, reinforce our branding, to reinforce our vision company-wise, to have an opportunity to do continued formation, to review and inefficiency in the company and improve the inefficiency, to create, to maybe optimize new technology, like I think all the companies, like video conferencing, for example, or sharing document in a more efficient way. Maybe we work very hard on continuing my quest of going paperless. I am a big fan of paperless, so I hate paper, and I work very hard on going paperless and try to share documents and so on and so forth. So therefore, I would say that the three topic was in terms of positive impact on COVID-19 in AMCAST was better teamwork and more efficient teamwork, use new technologies to convey our information internally. We are an international company based in US, Canada, South America, Europe. So we have a need to improve our communication skills. So that definitely this one gave us an opportunity to work in that sense. Work very closely with my research and development team to elaborate data that we conducted throughout the year and restudy the data in order to put our effort on the developing of new technology. We are a big fan of developing constantly new technology to answer the quest of better product that can help the mine company to achieve social responsibility, global economy, and circular economy, and so on and so forth. So yeah, those are the three things. So technology, innovation, better communication, and work on the inefficiency overall of the company. So I guess that was a good time for that. Of course, a certain segment on the business can be controlled remotely easily. Other component of the business still require the face-to-face and the traveling and the hands-on. We know that mine is an hands-on type of business. I think that some of the things can be done remotely, but some other things require traveling. So in that sense, nothing we can do about it. So.
And one of AMCAST partners, a foundry in northern Italy, which is a region we all know has been hit particularly hard by COVID-19. So can you tell us a bit more how the production has been affected, if there was like social measure, whether it shut down or delivery schedule was affected in any ways?
Yes, so rightly so. Our foundries are located in the north part of Italy, Milano and Udine, so perfect red zone, actually, where everything happens. So it was really dramatic times. Well, we are people coming from the mountain region of Italy. We are well known of being very resilient. We are in a seismic area, for example, and the founder in the 70s has been knocked down. One founder has been knocked down to the ground, and we rebuilt it from scratch. A few years ago, there was a massive fire on the patent department. We received huge damage from and we have restarted even better than before. So more we get it, and stronger we become. So COVID definitely was something, a new experience, but we were prepared. So we have maintained, thanks to our commitment with our team in the production line and all the people in the both foundries, we've been able to, by complying with a local regulation, to prepare way in advance. So we've installed, for example, we're one of the first, definitely in Italy, to install the tunnel for disinfection, the thermoscans to scan people temperature, mandate testing for employees, work on organized shift in order to maintain social distancing, and of course increase the use of the PPP, the personal protection equipment, in particular all the masks and all the hygiene safety standard were reached to the max. We double, triple the cleaning crew. We avoid gathering. The meetings were all conducted, for example, outside. No more meetings in the meeting room, or of course the canteen was closed, and so no more we try to avoid the cluttering people in a closed space. We create a committee specifically designed to take care of all this and enforce this policy within the organization. So thanks to this hard work and preparation and commitment, we were able to pretty much continue the production, and in fact we were able to fulfill all our orders, and still are able to fulfill all our orders worldwide. So we have been lucky in a sense to have a very solid vision, and to be able to get ready beforehand. When you realize that you need to start to get ready, it's already too late.
Right.
You gotta start to get ready way before, when the first signs are happening. As soon as we heard this information from East Asia, we invested significantly in everything from, as I said, disinfecting tunnel to gathering enough masks and enough gloves and protection equipment in order to continue and sustain the production. We were able also to reorganize the shifts. So basically, even if certain shifts were not allowed to work, we're using that during this time to maybe do maintenance that typically, as we all know, both in mining and steel mills and foundry, you have a certain times of the year where you gotta shut down to do maintenance. So taking advantage of the COVID to shut down certain components of the foundry and work on rotation, we're able to kind of guarantee production in certain area, and then we're working at the same time on maintenance on the other area. So most likely, usually on the month of August, that usually we have to shut down the foundry, the production plants for 3 weeks to do necessary yearly maintenance. Most likely this year we're going to continue producing, because we have done maintenance by being elastic in our organization. And again, kudos to my teammates and my team players, from operation to health and safety to all the people who work so hard. But we've been able to make it. And locally, nobody was sick with the COVID, and we have been able to maintain a very good working condition. But it hasn't been easy, naturally. I mean,
no, of course not, I guess. And do you think COVID-19 will have like a large impact on companies supplying mining companies, like whether it's equipment or services?
Yes, I think that this COVID will be a little bit of create a little bit of a filter. I think that management of mining company maybe will be focused a lot on quality, for example, or focus a lot on a provider that are able to supply on time with great quality, fair price for great quality. So I don't know if that, yes, a lot of parameters most likely will be reanalyzed and reevaluated by mining company. And maybe the metric will be focusing on reliability. now, especially this COVID, show the world that you need to be prepared, and you need to be prepared, and you need to invest and work with a reliable company. So essentially, the vendor to the mining industry is not anymore a simple vendor, at least the way that we see it, but has to become a true partner for the mining company. The vendor is a company that not only come in and sell on catalog, but becomes an integral partner to the mine, to be a problem solver, to be a partner to guarantee that the mine produce. All along during this COVID time, even our production, our concern was, well, we cannot leave our customer behind. We cannot leave our customer hanging. I mean, they are waiting for our product. Without our product, they cannot function. We gotta work. We didn't take it lightly, because the responsibility that we have in our shoulders are as a vendor in this particular segment, which is the crushing component of the mine. As we all know, without crushing, there is no mine. Is a kind of a chain production. So yes, so therefore I think the management of mining will be concentrated again on more on circular economy, more on what resources we can use internally and make it better, to avoid maybe to rely too much on further supply on other supplies. I don't know, there is a long going discussion, for example, even on solar panel with wind energy, alternative energies. So yes, now the oil is down to the bottom, so the cost of energy is not that great, but maybe you don't want to rely necessarily on oil supply, external oil supply. Maybe you can create your own energy. So I think that the COVID will bring to the table a lot of different angles that so far has been discovered a lot in literature, or discussed a lot in literature, about the mine of the future. But I think that the mine of the future is now and here, and is happening. And I think that COVID has definitely opened up the new mine management and forced the new mine management to think sooner than later about new ways of dealing with more self-sustainability and more efficiency, and thinking about all the topics that before maybe were a little bit theoretical, but I think they're becoming now very practical. So.
And you mentioned the cost of energy and oil prices going down. Do you think this will be an opportunity for the mining industry, like whether it's like cost down or like increasing profit, and then will it have an impact on companies that supplies those mining companies like yourself?
Yes, well, I mean, as we know, mine operations are arguably one of the mining, generally speaking, is arguably one of the most costly business in the world. I mean, I don't in my travel, or even in my career, I don't think that I've seen any other business that is as costly as mining. So even if the cost of oil is going down, it's still a cost, right? So, and in particular for the topic that I am very interested in my professional career, which is, as I told you before, the crushing segment of the business. Crushing and grinding in the mining process used 50% of the energy that the mine uses. So clearly is one of the most inefficient, if you would, and demanding process in the entire mines. So entire mining and mineral processing. So an attention of efficiency in order to try to cut, even if now the oil is cost very little, but now the oil costs very little. As we know, the oil, at least in my opinion, the oil is run by a cartel. So essentially, the price of oil is a little bit of a game. So now is low, maybe in future will be high. So I think that is a wise for mining operation to look to invest in new technology, regardless of the price of the oil in that moment, because the goal is efficiency. And I think that technological advancement and investing in technological advancement inevitably is going to have an impact on efficiency. The goal of the mine, I think, is to work efficiently. I think that is to work with less energy consumption as possible. Because then, of course, energy consumption, even if the oil cost, say, is very low, by the fact that the mine require quite a bit of energy, quite a bit of oil, and so on and so forth, then you get into that discussion of the environmental responsibility. So what is the carbon footprint? What is the price that the mine has to pay in terms of license to operate and in terms of environmental responsibility when it comes to oil consumption? So regardless of the price of the oil, I think that every mining manager nowadays is focusing on being more efficient and try to cut costs when it comes to energy. So that's why there is a lot of talk about, again, alternative energies also. So the solar, the wind, and so on and so forth. So.
And do you think mining companies or the mining industry in general, which includes service providers, will operate differently in a post-COVID world?
Definitely. I mean, I think that the COVID, as I mentioned briefly before, I think that the mine and mineral process has certain staples components that are there and are going to be there, right? I mean, it's difficult to revolution the way that we mine. It is starting with the drilling, then continue with the blasting and the crushing, the hauling, all the steps. So, and then of course, after the crushing, you have the grinding, the mineral processing, and so on and so forth. So clearly, the mine is a set production plant with a certain specific steps that you need to follow. But within these steps, there are sometimes some innovation that are not trivial. In other words, there are innovations that are hidden within the process. So if it's not possible to change on a macroscopic level, maybe a mining company will be forced to discuss on or invest in technology on a more microscopic level. So I think that the different way that mine will operate is to focus not only on the macro in terms of innovation, but also on the micro. So what are the possible innovations that can bring efficiency and ultimately lower the cost in a mining process that are not necessarily the macro. So, for example, like in my case, there are innovations. I don't know how many innovations really on a macroscopic crushing business can be done, but in terms of mechanic of crushing. But what about changing the metallurgy on the parts used in the crushing or the components used in the crusher? So that's not so evident because you're changing something that is hidden inside the crusher. So if you see a new machine, okay, say, oh my God, it's a new technology, great. But what about focusing on maybe changing parts or changing metallurgy in parts or with the use, for example, of new alloys or maybe synthetic materials embedded in alloys that can make the part last longer and therefore work more efficiently inside the crusher. So you don't see an innovation in metallurgy. So it's not so evident, but the results are evident because ultimately you can see benefits. So along the process, I think that the attention on the mining and the different way that the mine will operate after COVID-19 will be to really analyze every single step of the mining process and not only focus on the macro, but start really to focus also on the micro. What can we, I don't know, for example, on the flotation process, maybe we can use different chemicals to have the flotation process more efficient. And that's not so evident, but maybe a small innovation in the flotation process can bring incredible results. So there are a lot of innovation. The good news, I would say, on the mining process that is well known that mining process is very slow to adopt innovation. So we have a lot to do. That's the good news. So it's an industry that is open to a lot of opportunities. So compared to others that are more mature and maybe innovation is much more difficult. Instead, in the mine, I think that we have a lot to discover. So it's fascinating.
For sure. And now I'll step away a bit from COVID-19 and crisis, but I'll just ask you, as a mining executive, what advice would you give to young professionals that are starting their career in this period?
I think out of the box. I study in different school in my careers, and I remember I took a fellowship program at MIT in Boston, and then studied at Columbia University, and currently started the South Dakota School of Mines. But the common denominator of all these schools, and that's why I'm very pleased that I choose this kind of alma maters to form me from an academics perspective, that they've always encouraged of the thinking out of the box. So I think that the advice for an executive, for anybody that wants to start this career in mines from at any level, is really think out of the box. Don't think narrowly. Don't think about your role inside the mine, but first think about the mine overall, and think how you fit in the overall mine. Very often, people come out and say, okay, I am, let's say, a mining engineer, but wait a second, I'm specialized on processing. So that's my expertise. So I work only on processing, or I'm a geologist and I work only on the geology. Or I like more on the approach of, well, okay, I'm in the mining process, but I'm a prime process engineer, for example, and my role is this one, but what it means of me being here overall for the mine. And also, in your approach, keep always at the center of your focus the pillars, right? So the license to business, social responsibility, environmental responsibility, and sustainability. So those are the things that personally I find it very interesting. I think that would be the pillar of the mine of the future, and I think that that's what I will encourage all the young generation that comes into this business to do. The second thing, and I said this to all our students, and by the way, also now we are recruiting students for our summer intern on the contrary of other companies that they canceled the summer intern program. We are still very aggressive in the summer intern for the students, soon also in Canada, by the way. But the other thing is consider very often the mine has this stigma of being this archaic, horrible job. Mining is like remote location, dark places, underground. I mean, right. The mine of the future is not anymore like this. There is a lot of technology that needs to be used, and the mine are advancing quite. I would say for the mining standard, they are adopting quite a bit of technology, like if you think about drone technologies and so on and so forth. So I think that for people should consider, young guys should consider the mining industry, because it's an industry that will always be here. We'll always need mining, and we'll always need everything that is around us comes from the ground, basically. And I think that this industry offers great opportunities for curious people and people that want to challenge themselves. I think it's a fascinating business.
And also, like as I guess, like a stakeholder in the mining industry, do you have any last piece of advice for investors that are listening?
Yeah, well, it's funny that you mentioned that, and this is my answer. For investor, be patient. Mining industry is not a short sell, is not a subprime, is not a stock for an application on a cell phone that today works great and in 2 months it's already old. In order to as we know, from time of exploration to time of where the mine produced the first ounces, let's say, of gold, sometimes can be 20 years. So I read a lot on the I read a lot of articles and so on and so forth about, for example, this big hype on rare earths. So, right, I mean, in the United States, there is a lot of deposits of rare earths. Yes, true. But it's not that you start an exploration today and next year you have a mine up and running.
Right.
It takes years.
Absolutely.
So in terms of investor, yes, patient. But the other good news is that because the mining cycle are so long, that sometimes crises like this one are maybe affect a little bit less the mining industry than other industries that maybe have less economic cycle or maybe shorter economic cycle, maybe immediate result, fast money, but at the end of the game, they are very weak. Mine is an industry that is very solid. So for investor, it's still an industry that you need to invest because we need the mining product. We will always need mining product no matter what, even to develop new technologies. I mean, if you think about the electric cars, I mean, you need mining product more than ever. In fact, Tesla, I mean, Elon Musk, we all know the effort for him to really become a miner, because that's his idea, is to buy mines, right? I mean, even Google is doing the same thing. So therefore, if those big names are wanting actively not only to invest in mining, but actually start mining, it means that it's a good industry to invest in. So yes, but the advice, absolutely patient and talk with the mining company. Don't read articles written by non-mining professionals. You gotta speak with mining professionals that know the industry. So
great. Thank you so much, Tomaso, for your time and answering all our questions today. I mean, we really appreciate.
Thank you, Bianca. Appreciate the opportunity and congratulations on your initiative. And hopefully it wasn't too boring.
Thank you and stay safe, Tomaso.
Thank you. Appreciate it.